At first, first of all, I go change this my phone. After that, I go come buy correct baths. Lem, well, you see, lem, you can't find it in English, but in the Nigerian pidgin parlance, that is to eat, to lem. So there are so many terms, to whack, to lem, to shop. So there are so many ways you can express yourself, which is limited in English language. But in pidgin, you have a wide range of words to choose from.
Hi, and welcome to the Everything Voiceovers podcast. I'm Tcode, an African voiceover talent from Nigeria, and this is my podcast, where I take on voiceover topics from an African perspective. In this episode, my guest is veteran Pidgin English voiceover artist and producer from Nigeria, Mr. Ambrose Mosi. We discuss the craft of Pidgin voiceovers and touch on the history of voiceovers in Nigeria. Sit back and enjoy this episode.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Everything Voiceovers podcast. It's Tcode here again, and today I have with me a special guest. First of all, before I go into today's episode, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone that has been listening to the podcast. The following and the listenership has increased tremendously over the past few weeks since we started season 2, and that is quite encouraging. And if you have not listened to the previous episodes, I'll urge you to please do that. Interesting conversations with Kingi on the last episode, and we also had Maolisa Chi from Ghana in the episode before that. All right, so let's get to today's episode. Now, today is a very special episode. If you're an ardent listener, you probably understand based on probably the sound of where I'm recording from. So it's not the usual studio that I would record from. However, it's a studio somewhere in Lagos, or would I say a part of the studio. Okay, so cut long story short, I am for the second time in a place called the Voice House in Lagos, Nigeria. For those who don't know, the Voice House is the location that houses the Association of Voiceover Artists of Nigeria. Okay, so that's AVOA, which if you listen to the last season, I had an interview with the president of AVOA, that's Mr. Tcode and Ambrose. And again today, I am at the Voice House to interview another special member of AVOA, one of the greats, you may want to call him a legend. He's a veteran of the craft, of the voiceover business, and he's unique for doing voiceovers in a particular way or in a particular language, which a lot of us are familiar with if you're from West Africa and if you're from Africa generally. But then, this is not the normal English that you listen to. This is the Pidgin English. And if there's someone who has stood out prolifically well, if there's anything like that, in the Nigerian voiceover space over the decades, is this man that I'm sitting with right here in the Voice House at AVOA. I'm talking about no other person than Mr. Ambrose Mosi. Mr. Ambrose, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys probably noticed why I pronounced his name. He taught me the pronunciation. Ambrose Mosi.
Mosi. Yes. Yes. No. Yeah. Oh.
It's a pleasure to see you again, sir.
Thank you.
So let's start from your name, because this is going to be a very interesting conversation. It's something that there's a lot to learn from you, from your generation, and that's why we're having this conversation. The things that have been before now, and your own experience in the voiceover industry, a bit of your life experience too, you may want to share with us. But for the sake of curiosity, and also how I pronounced your name, I'm curious to know where you're from exactly and why your name is being pronounced that way.
Okay. My name, as I said before, Ambrose Mosi. I'm from Delta State, Nigeria. And that name is, my people moved down from Edo State, Benin City specifically, down towards the east. And so when they got to where what used to be the Midwest, towards the Asaba region, Asaba area, a town called Obio, they settled there. And so it's the origin of that name is from Edo State. And you understand? And what it means is I have people, able-bodied people around me. Yes, I have able-bodied. It's like having a backbone, a strong.
Yeah. That is expressed in just 2 syllables.
Yes, Mosi.
Interesting. So let's get into the thoughts of voiceovers, because that's why a lot of people listen to this podcast. And from the outside perspective, especially from my generation, we know you to be one of the most maybe successful. I don't know if that's the word though, but you stand out for being a voice actor that does pidgin voiceovers very well. A lot of us grew up listening to the voiceovers that you've done. I remember last year, by the way, I was privileged to host a panel session with you last year.
Yeah, exactly.
And you mentioned a commercial that many of us grew up listening to. That's the Panadol Extra.
Yes, exactly.
Just for the sake of we knowing more about the great jobs we've done, but we don't know the face behind it. Do you mind telling us some of the very popular commercials?
Okay. I actually started out as a singer. I used to do backup vocals for artists in the studio way back. And I'm talking about the 90s, I was doing backup vocals for artists like S2E4, Adudeme, Stella Yama, and with Alexo, briefly, Daddy Shoki. I actually did the Daddy Shoki's first album, the backup there, and Daddy Fresh, yeah, and some other studio recordings. There's so many. And so I started out as a singer, and then one day my colleague Gloria Merua, she said, no listen that good they sing. You from Delta. If you like say no one make money. Okay. So make you and your pidgin, your pigeons you don't know which one you deserve for. You need to add, an extra touch to what you're doing. And by that she meant I should start doing voiceovers. So she told me, and I thought about it, and I said, okay. So before I started doing voiceovers, I was singing, as I said, and then I also started learning how to produce commercials. I was working with my friend, together with my friend, then Samak Babot Jr. So we produced quite a number of commercials, and when he traveled abroad, I was left alone way back. Then, before he traveled, we did commercials like Erisco Bumpet fire extinguisher. We did Kiwi shoe polish. We did produced Sky Bright detergent. Some of them are not not popular now. And so then when he left, I was down. Okay, I had learned how to play do fa so. So I wasn't. I was still an amateur producer, And so one day, Fitz smiled on me, and somebody just introduced me to an advertising agency practitioner and said, "This man can produce jingles, so give him your job." And he said, "Really? Okay, so meet me in the office on Monday." That was on Friday. On Monday, I went to the office, and he briefed me, and then there happened to be a foam mattress. So I wrote the script, took it back to him. He said, "Okay, I don't have money now. Could you produce it?" And I said, I was looking for how to, make myself known then. And so I went back, and I was very, would I say afraid, or I wasn't confident at all. I didn't know how good. Although as I said before, I was working with my friend Sam Akbar, but he was the one producing. I was just adding some few ideas here and there. But here was I faced with a major production. My friend Joe Jas, a sound engineer, said, "So you better produce this commercial, if not your studio session go burn." I said, "Hey, okay." So we started. I programmed the beat, and then at the end of the day, to cut the long story short, I produced my first jingle, and that was Winkle Foam. So you remember, Winkle Foam, high quality foam. Winkle Foam is soft, muke for body. So that was my first production, and that was in 1998. Yes. So I produced that jingle then. And so I didn't even know it was a pitch. When I took it to the ad agency, they said, "Okay, we'll get back to you." They now took it to the company, the Winkle Foam mattress company. They came back and called me and sent for me, and I got there. They just carried me shoulder high. I said, "Oh God, what's happening? Why not they carry me? What happened now?" He said, "Don't worry, you made us proud that my jingle won." I mean, that there were 5 different agencies pitching for that same job. My own amateur Dofaso production won the account. And I said, "Really?" They paid me my money immediately. How much then? 28,000 naira.
Sorry, for context, can you try to give us what it might be as an equivalent in today's naira?
In today's naira, that should be over 500,000 naira. Quite frankly, yeah, because our money was very, very valuable then. So, and from that point on, my confidence began to grow. And so they gave me some other jingles, and I was winning. And I some artists, started approaching me for album production, and I told them, well, I'm not into album production, but he said, "Don't worry, you can do it, bros. You can." And so I was, although I was happy that I was, being recognized, but then that fear was still there. Album production is a different level. So I stuck to my production, and I was doing so many of the productions until I now one of them, Mr. Ogunro, Sheson Ogunro, blessed memory, the former MD of Eminent Communications somewhere in Ikeja. So he sent for me, and the way people were now, calling out, like people were now asking the agency producers to go fetch me. I was worried. I said, when did I start production, or when did I start producing? But then I was encouraged, and so I got there, and he gave me another brief. This time, I think it was Cowbell Chocolate. Cowbell Chocolate. No, this time I think it was 2002 or 2000, yeah, about that time. Yeah, Cowbell Chocolate, 2002 or 3. And so he gave me the Igbo, and then after the translation, I gave the translation to Mr. Isaac Ijoma, popularly known as Anoka in the Rested TV series Second Chance. He translated it, and then I went to the studio and produced, and I brought it back. The man, Mr. Ogunro, was very happy. He said, "Wow, this is good. I didn't go back to the studio to correct anything. That was how they took it. So based on that, he now said, okay, there are some like 3 other producers whom I have briefed on the Pidgin. Could you, I think you should join the race. Me. The people we call their name, I nearly take off.
Let me understand this. Up till that time,
yes,
we're doing production.
Yes. I was doing voiceovers on the line. I was, but not as much as I was doing jingles, because I joined Avoa in 1997. Yes. And so I wasn't, when there's no jingle to produce, I would follow my seniors in the industry, Hiyoma Kwale, Kevin Ushi, and some other people, Bola Makinde, Femi Showolu, what's this guy's name again? He died in an accident. What's his name? Can't remember his name again now. And some other ones. I was sometimes, if I don't have anything to do, I would just go to the studio and I would listen to these guys, the way they deliver their voice jobs. And I was just understudying them. So that was part of my training too.
No, is because the names you mentioned, a couple of them do English. Were you just doing English at the time? Because you mentioned now that you were told to do Pidgin.
Yes.
It was something you felt, oh wow.
Okay. Yes. I was doing Pidgin, but it was just one line. They would just give me one line. And interestingly, they would pay me the same amount they paid people who did. Yes. And so I felt that they were dashing me money, even though I liked it. And so I was just, so that I don't make mistakes. My confidence was not very strong then. And so they were kind of encouraging me, carrying me along.
And that's quite interesting to know now that you mentioned payment, and also you mentioned that you were paid 28,000.
Yes. Now, yes.
Does that imply that back in those days,
yes,
the remuneration, the payment,
yes, it wasn't, but then it was valuable, because no amount of money can pay for a creative job. Yes, no amount of money. In this part of the world, we look at creative jobs like something any other person can do, and that's not true. So that's not true. Voiceover is an art. You develop it. It's not like newscasting. Thank God I trained as a broadcaster too later. So I knew the difference between being a voiceover artist and a newscaster. They are two different things. So the amount they were paying then, I joined when they were paying people 700 naira. And then from there to 1.5. From 1.5 it grew to 3,000, and people were jumping. Ava was at somewhere off Adeni Rogunsoya then. Yeah, I hadn't joined then, but I was producing jingles with my friend Sam Akbabot then. So I knew how much they were collecting then. But from what I said, I wasn't fully into voiceover. So the day they paid me 700 naira, it was quite, it was wholesome, and I felt very good.
Which is, what year was this, and what's the approximate figure?
Then that was in 1996, even before I joined Avo. So moved on from there to, I think it was this agency. I remember their name, somewhere in GRA Keja. That first, increased voice fees to 10,000 naira, and people were, wow.
What year was that?
And I remember exactly now. That's when George Nkem Okolie was their production manager, the agency producer.
So I was assuming the 2000.
Yeah, yes, they increased it. They increased it on the, by themselves. Oh yes. But today, now I'm sure 10,000 is it's less.
I'm enjoying this conversation.
Yes,
we're going back past things were.
Yes.
Standard practice internationally also back in those times. People would, or in other countries, especially in the US, let's use that as the case story. They had agency that voice actors or agents that voice actors used to be under, and they found job for their talents.
Yes.
But I know there were other ways of getting jobs for voice actors. For voice actors in Nigeria at the time, how was the discoverability like? How did you sell yourself? How did you get jobs? Was it just a matter of coincidence, or there were people speaking on your behalf, or was that the role Avoa was playing back in those days? Because if someone was coming into the industry, what was the person's fate?
Okay. I'll put it this way. Would I say it was a bit informal, in a sense, because there was no clear-cut way of saying, okay, this is what Avoa is sending you, this place, or agencies, please, whenever you want voice artists in this category, or for this or this language or languages, we have. No, there was nothing like that. What was happening was people were converging at Miditown Studios, somewhere off Eric Moore Road, Surulere, a place called Eric Moore Close. That was where Miditown Studios was then. So it was like a meet point for voice artists. If you're a voice artist, you have to be coming around there. So the more you make your presence known, the more, and then you have to be good. It's not just about coming. You must have something to offer. You must go through Avoa audition. If you scale through it, then you become one of them. And so when I did the audition in 1997, and I didn't quite make it. So in 98 I repeated again, and I scaled through. That same day, the next day rather, the people who interviewed me carried me along, and I worked with them, and I was quite elated. I was paid, yes. No. I think that's when they had, it was up to 3,000. Yes. 98.
You said that you were interviewed in the first time. 97, and you didn't make it.
Yes, I didn't make it.
So does that mean that it was an annual thing?
Yes. It was an annual. People looked forward to it, although it wasn't as popular as it is now. I mean, the voice-over trade. So I think it was dominated then by either retired broadcasters or some people who just love anything that has to do with voice. People who want to, I want my voice to be heard on radio too. I want people to know me. So you begin to, go through some kind of training to get yourself ready. So when it's time for audition, you apply. If the judges are seasoned broadcasters, elders in the industry, so it's not something do man no man. No. Once you're good, You certify you good and you're good to go.
Would qualify you for job?
Yes, because what happens is when they go, when most of these people now, they'll be carrying you along. I think that was how it was operating then. They'll just be carrying you along. So agencies will be knowing you. They will introduce you. So, okay, this is our new member. Say, you don't do job before. If you've not done anything, you say no. We say, okay, let me hear you. They'll now put you on the mic, and if you are good, okay, they'll just take down your name and your contact, and that's it.
It's a very powerful body.
Yes.
And how powerful was Avoa in this regard? Because I know that there would have been cases where agencies did not play their part. They didn't fulfill their terms. Contract.
Yes.
The Avoa handled.
Most of the agencies were blacklisted. Yes. So some of our members stopped working with them as a result of that action.
Okay, this is very
like Insight Communications. That's the agency I was trying to remember then. They started they later review their rates upwards. So Avoa blacklisted. That was a way of fighting back, because even on our invoice, the back side of it, you have terms and conditions, and agencies, most of the time disrespect our terms and conditions. What they do, they bring their own contract and ask you to sign. And when you read through what they wrote there, man, you won't want to sign. You understand? So we had cases of agencies, because we report these things back to the association, and after some time, couldn't take it anymore, just stop working with such agencies. And so whoever flouts that rule, gets punished too. Yes, in Avoa, you pay fine. So that was a way of checkmating excesses and disobedience.
A lot is, screaming in my mind.
Okay.
Listening to talk about the things that were happening in the 90s. But that means you've been a member of Avoa for about 20.
More than that, yeah. So, sorry, you said something about agencies not keeping their part of the bargain. You remember you talked about, I told you I started out as a singer and then a producer. I produced Panadol Extra Ghana Master. You mentioned it earlier. Yes, I did that I produced that commercial in 2003. Okay? Before I went to FRC and training school to study elocution, presentation. Yes. So do you know they didn't pay me until late 2004. That was part of the problems we have with advertising agencies. I don't want to mention their names. The people who know, agencies that handle different accounts, they know them. They didn't pay me. There was no English I didn't speak. At least the ones I try to get my money. They were telling me agency policy says this, agency policy, client has not paid. How can client not pay you?
There was a contract you signed for doing it.
Unfortunately, there was none. It was based on recommendation, because some of my friends worked with that agency, and I came highly recommended, and so it was like, then we weren't signing contracts. You just come, do this for this, how much I'll pay, and then you bring your invoice and submit your invoice. So that was, I think, would I say that that's not a contract? You just submit your invoice. So based on that, they'll give you when the date to pay. So you go into the studio, produce, and give back to them.
There's one more thing I'd like to touch on before we get into your own career.
Okay.
I heard the conversation from there. You mentioned that Avwa used to blacklist agencies.
Exactly.
If you look at, this is 2023, reverse is the case now. Yeah, I don't see how we voice actors can blacklist an agency right now, because there are lots of people that would do the job for whatever amount.
Okay.
And they would, so what do you have to say to that?
I don't know if I'll blame it on proliferation or desperation. Proliferation of voice artists. Some don't even, that you do, you read English major at the university does not qualify you as a voice artist. It goes beyond that, So a lot of people think because they're presenters, they stand a better chance of getting jobs because they are heard on radio. You understand? Forgetting that there's a standing, would I say, rule now that as a presenter, your voice, your allegiance is first to your radio station. But in Nigeria, anything goes. A lot of people flout these rules and still go ahead to do voiceovers. And so that's what agencies like. When this one says, okay, I want to voice this product for your service or whatever script you bring, whatever is whatever content it has. If I say I'm not going to work because the money you're offering is not up to the standard fee, another person will find it as, a big advantage for me to make some money. And that's where we have a problem. See, a lot of people are playing to the gallery. You understand? So some don't even know. Some don't know the danger their actions bring upon everybody. So it's not just about making money. You're shortchanging yourself and the entire industry. So if you think you're making money, if you know how much you're losing, you won't even try it in the first place. So because your colleague refused a job or refused to do a job, you think you stand a better chance to make money. You are shortchanging yourself because the agency, there's a reason why he or she refused to do that job, and you now see it as a good opportunity to for them to recognize you, and then you become a regular voice artist. You think by making kobo you are doing great. No, you are shortchanging yourself, because if you hold one broomstick, you break it. You can break it, but if you hold a whole bunch, you can't. You understand? So
that talks about the power of unity.
That's unity, but a lot of people like going solo. In this part of the world, we say, who not fast, na he lose. It's not available. Dynasty played the song sometime, in the 80s. Love on the fast lane, we'll only get you nowhere fast. Love on the fast lane will only get you nowhere fast. So you want to bring it into our industry. Sharp practice. As in trying to outsmart somebody. You think you're smart. James Adlich said it too. But when you think you're smart, and you can easily outsmart everyone else, then you are wide open for a sucker punch. So you are not outsmarting anybody. So it will only get you nowhere fast. So you just be going in circles. Then one day now, you that thought you outsmarted someone, you find yourself in the same square peg. That's it. So it becomes like a rat race. So rather than reasoning it out conscientiously and saying, why did this guy refuse or reject this job? We do the same thing. I think it's better we have a meeting, or we meet, talk about it and see how we can better our trade or remunerations coming from our efforts.
This conversation is typically an avoir conversation, because it's that's the association and is supposed to address this matter. It's an interesting conversation, but then I want to go to talking to you now.
Okay.
Your career,
Okay.
over the years.
Okay.
I think the other conversation I can have it in the next episode where I would be interviewing one of the past presidents of AVOA.
I was okay. I was also at the point I was the vice president of AVOA when Ehio Mokwale was the president. And so in my capacity as the vice president, I led a protest against one advertising agency. And we stopped working with them. We all had that agreement. We stopped working with them. They were handling one of these telecommunication jobs, accounts. We stopped. We were bringing them a lot. So do you know that after a while, they cornered those guys and said, come and don't worry, we'll facilitate your payment fast enough. And those guys went back. And the agency blacklisted me. So this is part of the problems we're having.
But that's still in line with this, because I recall last year at the Voiceover conference when you talked about how that Panadol Extra had you.
Yes. Yes.
Not just that you weren't paid. Mentioned that you heard it as far as or someone told you it was played in South Africa.
No, they went to South Africa to shoot the visuals. So from there, they called me. Man, this your jingle, not be smart, man, they think they shake ground for this place. So I now told, man, we are proud of you. I said, did you tell the South Africans? Because obviously you paid them on the spot. You paid them before they started. Did you tell them you didn't pay me? I hope you did that. You did. Let your conscience, search your conscience. Tell them in South Africa that how you obey their rules. Their rules that you obey, you flaunt it. You flaunt ours here. You look down on your people. But you go outside and then you glorify foreign nationals. Is that not a shame? Yeah.
You never got paid even till today.
No, I later got paid in bits. Yes.
Which have lost its body.
Oh yes, because you see, some of these agencies don't know that there's also a spiritual angle to what they do. I'd like to go a bit spiritual here. There's the book of James chapter 4, verse 8. He says that the cry of the laborers that have reaped down your fields, cry it out, and their cries have entered into the ears of Jehovah Sabaoth. Do you understand? So, most of the agencies who were so notorious in frustrating artists, they've gone down. I'm not happy they've gone down, but somehow, you see, what goes around comes around. If you think artists don't matter, it's like broom. You say, oh, this broom is so worthless. In the morning, that's the first thing you look for. I tell somebody, if you think that this script, most of the time anyway, we even change their script. We rewrite it in the studio. Some of them pride themselves, oh, I'm a fantastic script writer. I'm a wonderful script writer. You bring that script to the studio, it won't fit into time. And then we start doctoring the script, editing here, left and right. Yeah, but you are in your office feeling funky. That you are a Superman script writer. It doesn't work that way, So most of them have gone down. Yeah, they don't like to pay artists, and you don't know that money is spiritual. If you frustrate people, the Bible says, do not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treads out the corn. And that's what most of them do.
This is quite interesting. And the sad truth is that not much has changed in the world of voiceovers today in Nigeria. I don't know if I should say it has gotten worse, but we're hoping that people can start to understand how the system should operate, because I believe that it starts from education, or it starts with education. Unfortunately, we have a huge number of people flocking into the voiceover industry. They don't know what the standard practice should be like, and that's all the problems that we're having, because if you don't know what you deserve or what ought to be the standard quality you ought to be, and the value you ought to receive in return, carry that tag of voiceover, you already water down the value of the industry, and it affects everybody.
Exactly.
So that's why it's also very important for us to have this kind of conversation. That we're taught what had been and how it ought to be.
Okay.
Moving forward now to you particularly.
Yes.
I remember, because we started recording this, say, 30 minutes before, we met, and we had this conversation that lasted about 30 minutes.
Okay.
I told you that I was going to title this episode, of which I wouldn't title it that way anymore. No, because of your, you took an exception to it. I was going to say you're the godfather of Pidgin. Pidgin Voiceovers in Nigeria.
Oh my!
Then you have your seniors, and just to be very respectful of them.
Yeah.
That well, that title is sort of like a heaven word for you. But nonetheless, you are arguably maybe the godfather. I don't know.
You're still holding on to this godfather thing. You make me feel like a politician.
You're not the podium, but you're a spectacle. You're an icon in this.
Well, I give God the glory. I thank God for how far He has empowered me to give out what He has deposited inside of me, and so it's like, okay, God is the wind beneath my. Is the wind beneath my wings. Said.
To all Pidgin voice actors out there. Now, this is not to say that you all are not doing great. This is just an interesting conversation between Mr. Ambrose and I. And unfortunately, we don't have so much of documented history.
Okay.
For us to learn about things that have been. So a lot of us are just working by hearsay.
Okay.
And that's why we stand to be corrected a lot of times. So I'm sure you have a lot of history, but then we can do this for a whole day and not exhaust the conversation. Now I want to speak for people who are currently in the practice of Pidgin voiceovers. I wish they had the opportunity to be in my shoe right now and ask questions directly about how the craft itself goes. But I'll do my best to ask on their behalf. For those who understand Pidgin,
yes,
even Nigerians, we know that Pidgin is a language that is unique because it can be understood by almost all Nigerians from all parts of Nigeria.
Yes,
regardless of
your region.
Understanding the English itself. Some people call, but when they hear Pidgin, they can relate.
They can relate. Yes,
it brings the whole. In fact, it's probably the
meeting point. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
However, there are different types of English, Pidgin English, and people regard them in different, level. Some would say
tonality. Okay,
so it's just a watered down version. So, for me, knowing that you've done a lot of Pidgin voiceover jobs, how did you figure out the best? How did you polish that part of the Pidgin? Was that what you were doing originally? Help us understand the craft of Pidgin English itself. I have a lot of questions, but I believe that you'll be able to answer them. How do we understand Pidgin English?
Well, Pidgin English, as one of my pastors put it, is a struggle, a layman's struggle to understanding or trying to speak the Queen's English. You understand? You get it? Yes, it's like a struggle. You're trying to fit into that class of people who understand or speak English language, but you find out that you're not getting up there, but somehow you want to make yourself heard by doing something. You understand? Saying something. Sometimes we mix Pidgin with our local dialects. Sometimes you say, "She, you understand me." That "she" is not, I think it's Yoruba. We have a lot of such that have found their way into the Nigerian Pidgin space. Like nyama nyama, poto poto. By the way, when I went to FRC and they taught us how to stress our words. In Pidgin parlance, in Pidgin language, it doesn't follow. For instance, they'll tell you, okay, constitution. Where will the stress mark be in constitution? The highest point in your voice when you pronounce a word, that's where the stress mark will be. And so in this case of constitution is where the constitution. You understand? So the tuition, that's where you put your stress mark. But then in Pidgin, the way we stress our words is totally different. For instance, if I want to tell you, we say it in doubles, like sharp sharp. You get? To make you know that this thing is, you lay emphasis on joy and you emphasize your words more. And so that's how we stress our words. Sharp sharp. Nyama nyama, poto poto, kona kona, waka waka, pano pano. You understand? So that's how we stress our words. It's not like the English word where you talk about the where you put your stress mark. Where you put your stress mark in Pidgin, probably the second part of what you just said, the repeat aspect of it. Poto poto, you see? Also, so that's it. So now, over the years, Pidgin has evolved. You asked me how I got myself into knowing which one. Well, I've been lucky to have experienced or traveled to quite a number of places in Nigeria. So I was able to understand. First of all, I come from the state where Pidgin is like the second language. If I'd say it's like the normal way of communicating. Elderly people who are not schooled speak Pidgin. I'm from Delta State. So Pidgin is like second nature. You see old man, you speak, he will understand you. And he will speak, even if he never went to a formal school. So Pidgin is what we can call a national language in Nigeria, but we are not accepting it because of because English language is there, so you can't say Pidgin becomes our national language. But then, in a way, it is. Why? Pidgin gives you that opportunity to break down and make things believable. It brings you down to your environment, things you can relate to, things you can our everyday life here in Nigeria. You want to say, okay, for instance, if a worry man want to say, you're just coming to school. Sure, na you dey come school. You see the way the intonation, you understand. Then, if you go to the East, they can say, now you dey come school. And you see the difference in pronunciation. If a Yoruba person want to say it, how would he say it? He or she can put maybe a bit of Yoruba language. Where we lay all there. Na you dey come school. She na now daybreak. Now you dey come school. See the way even they waka they come. You know that kind of thing. So our language or our native tongue gets in the way most of the time when we speak Pidgin. But there is one that you can actually say, okay, this is like, because sometimes when they give me script to voice, they say, don't put Wafi. Wafi is a Warrior Pidgin, a brand of Pidgin. Just speak the normal one. For instance, now, let me see if I have a script here.
While you're looking for the script, I used to work on radio and I had colleagues, they talk about the Wafi brand of Pidgin as the Bunge. The word of Bunge means like the standard version of Pidgin. Do you agree? Because broadcasters, some of them have heard them.
Yeah, well, I won't say no. Because as I said, I come from Delta, and Pidgin is like, what everybody can speak there. You get, and it's like, it's prestigious. It has its own prestige because of the way it is being spoken there. You get, so now what for you? You know, that's how this is where they talk. So it has some, it's sweeter. It's like when you speak Queen's English. You understand? It's sweet in the ears. You say what?
I wish I could speak it the way.
So let me just get this straight. So that's it. So when people hear it, it's because it has this kind of when you speak, it's like you're singing. The tonality, yes, makes it sound beautiful. It swims like music to the ears. You understand?
Take your time to find a script.
Yeah.
You lovely to hear his people.
Okay. And they come on. Okay. And now say sure. Sure now what for you not understand? You understand what they talk so? Okay. So let me okay, there's this scripture say, at first I go change that change. You can see change that becomes you get? So these are the things. So those are the things that it's like Chicago. You get? You begin to wonder, why is it not Chicago? Although some people call it Chicago, but Americans say Chicago. But so for the year now, see, at first I go change. So when you hear a change, okay, there is in English phonemic, so those things are there. So here, at first of all, I go change this my phone. After that, I go buy correct valves. You don't understand. So you see, it begin to well, if I borrow the word totori you want to hear more. It's sweet. I go buy correct baths. Baths, that's like clothes, beautiful, nice clothes. And that has to also do with perfumes. So it's part of the baths. You get. So at first, first of all, I go change this my phone. After that, I go come buy correct baths. Lem, well, you see, lem, you can't find it in English, but in the Nigerian Pidgin parlance, that is to eat, to lem. So there are so many terms. To whack, to lem, to shop. You get? So there are so many ways you can express yourself, which is limited in English language. But in Pidgin, you have a wide range of words to choose from. depending on if you're doing translation too from English language to Pidgin, which I do, quite often, you now begin to, okay, this word, what are the other options? You now have options. The one that fits in perfectly, that's the one you use. Now, not forgetting that you have to maintain the original meaning of what you're translating. It mustn't. So I go change this phone. After that, I go buy correct baths. Learn well. I can't block my landlord. Make it not see. May not see my status. You can compress it. May not see my status. You are going for settle this time. So your pitch changes. So that's part of what makes Pidgin beautiful. You get? If you listen to me, my the way I pronounce and the way I romance the words, it makes it interesting. It's not just, I will read this same script in it. Yes. Okay, let me take it full time now. At first, I go share this my phone. After that, I go buy correct baths. Learn well. Then don't forget that you put in things like laughter. Chuckles here and there. So those they are carrying you on, as I said before, you go, they torture you. That kind of thing. So I'll block my landlord. You don't understand. May not fit see my status. Can't declare for guys. Can't declare for guys. Then more levels all change with that too. You understand now? Now that's it. I even water that I don't want to sound too. Now, then the normal one. At first, I go change this my phone. After that, I go buy correct baths, or I'll buy correct clothes. I'll buy correct clothes them. Then I go shop where I go chop where I'll come block my landlord, making office see my status. Come declare for my boys there. Or more levels don't change with that too. This one is plain. Yes, it's closer to English. The calmness. So that then sometimes they want you to go crazy. Some of these they say, this is what do you call it? A promo. Then you now listen, Nigerians. Once you do something, they want you to repeat it. If ever at a point, sometimes I lose my voice. Oh boy! At first, so you see my texture has. You're so high pitch. Let me go. And where I really, I'm coming. Let's see. Cash. Okay, I want to get. Oh gosh, just a minute. No. I want to get a script. Now, when I translated this script, you must have heard it on the radio. You have to shout with energy. They keep telling you energy. I don't know if they have told you that. Put some energy. Yes, energy. I almost fainted one day. Energy. Yes. So you see, this one, see, okay, sorry. Okay, this is not it. This is not the one I actually wanted. But then, first of all, okay, good. Now, my people, hello. Now better levels I carry come on a Domoto Bosa Globe Festival of Joy promo. You don't hear that for Yiddish, eh? Say, stadium we brekete with prize go nyete. Stadium we brekete with prize them nyete. Tanta gidigba for win. You understand now? Then you now begin to mention the prizes, or people stand to win. Say 24 cha-cha and you car, 24 cha-cha cars, they wait. 100 generators self day. Sewing machine, 1,000 rechargeable fan, full grab bracket, and 1,000 upon 1,000 other bad price them. Don't settle. Just that style 611 hash to enter and win inside the Globe Festival of Joy promo. 20,000 people. I said 20,000 data day inside the period. Buy up to 20,000 naira data inside this period where this promo go last. So you have it, your love will shine. Oh, you see, am I not going crazy now? So you started. That's they wanted to go crazy. Is that how it's supposed to be?
What's the commercial?
About that, they now want people to listen. That is, your voice must arrest people.
And we also say that in English.
Yes. But is that how they do it in other times? Why is it that all our things here are so hyper, so emphatic? So it takes you back to Pidgin again. And I think it has to do with our way of, talk, our way of expression here. A way of life gets in the way. Yes.
Rockator.
Yes. So that's it.
This is quite interesting. A question was coming to my mind while you were doing this. Yeah, so seeing you express those words, something very consistent was what I'll call improv, the level of which we improvise.
Okay. Nyafu, ye brekete, bangba.
And these are things that I'm not sure a copywriter, African copywriter,
want to infuse
it in the screens. It might not come out naturally.
Yes.
Is it right to say that it is in the best interest of the production team to allow the voice actor himself, the Pidgin voice actor, to draft the script or the copy for the voiceover? Is it something that's you can allow a copywriter to do?
The thing is, in Nigeria, we like to cut corners. You see, the question you just asked now is very, very important or very interesting. Most of the time, I said it earlier, the agency, they will bring a script to you, expecting that script. Oh, this script is dope, wonderful. Gets to the studio, we start changing it to give it life. You get? Okay, things like nyafu, bangba, some other ones, brekete, nyete, all those things. These are, called out from local language, kidiba, dancing, kakraka. So so once somebody said the thing tanda gidigba, you know that this thing is like solid. So that's what it means. Kakraka is the kakraka is like it's so strong, it's durable. Nyafu, something that is overflowing, plenty. You're not talking about brekete. It's you have lots and lots. This is
sort of like onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia. Yeah, that's it.
This is quite interesting, and I think for Pidgin English voice actor, we go for a master class. the Godfather himself,
God.
But it's amazing hearing you talk about Pidgin English. In your own opinion,
yes,
Pidgin English voiceovers that you hear on radio today,
yes,
with this generation,
yes,
what do you think of it? Is it still a solid or?
Well, if I say it's been watered down, some critics might say you're on too much self waiting, blah blah. But you see, a lot of people want to fly without learning to walk first. It doesn't happen. You have to train. You have to, ask questions. How is this done? If you assume that you know, that's the beginning of your mediocrity. you have to ask questions. Liaise with people who are ahead of you. How is this thing done? Don't sit back and think you just learn, okay, the ones you hear over the radio, on the radio, you are good to go. No. Sometimes I hear some English voice artists, some neither American nor British. That's the sad reality. So it is the same thing as Pidgin. So you don't know which one. Sometimes you don't know which word to use. You just use anyhow. Sometimes it could just be how you laugh. Hey! Now, wow! You're already communicating. So you have to get through. Sometimes what you do, artists are mad people. They behave like crazy people. You can sit down with somebody now, suddenly his mood changes because he wants to read a script. What's going on? Yes, he has, entered into that character. You have to know the mood. You have to know the speed. Apply speed. At FRC, and they told us it's called features of connected speech. And that's comprises of your tone, your mood, your pitch, your modulation, your stress, and some other things. So when you take up a script, these are the things you should observe, and that's where the education aspect comes in. You have to undergo training. Don't just, believe that you can do it. You understand? You have to undergo training. When I left the university, I went to FRC and training school.
Now that you mentioned training, which is important, back to what we're talking about, education, how can people really get trained for Pidgin, not English?
Well, there's no formal school for Pidgin. What we do, we do workshops, voice workshops, voiceover workshops annually. Now, we've not done it. We didn't do it last year, but about 3 years ago, we did it. Okay, before COVID, when COVID came, a lot of restrictions and all that, so that largely affected that program. So what we do, people come when we do our voice workshops. They come, and then that's like an opportunity to everybody speaks Pidgin, but there's the type that you can use to sell a product or service. Yes, well, if that's the word, charismatic way of delivering.
God, you need to have a level of charisma, crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So that's it.
I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And shared these things with me, and I know there are a lot of stories that we can talk about, but time will not permit us with probably. So, if there is any other thing you would like to add to all that has been said, or what you think is important for new talents coming into the industry to understand in order to have a better career and not make mistakes your generation made while you were doing your.
Well, I said it, a bit of it a while ago. You have to learn. Be patient. As the patience is a virtue. You have to be patient. If you think that you can just go on your own and do it. I listen to commercials when I travel, and people outside Lagos, the way they do commercials is so funny. They will talk, it's not the way you talk like, okay, we want to have a discussion. That's not the way you do commercials. One, there's a duration. So you can't be telling us about both house address and where this one, you say, hey, well, this one, hello. You begin to talk, to put some irrelevant things, no. And then you talk, I don't know if they don't charge them much. Radio stations outside Lagos, I don't know. I begin to laugh. So people have to learn the trade, what it takes to deliver, given a specific time, deliver this script. You have to as I said before, know the features of connected speech. When you take up that script, don't just read your part. Read everything from beginning to the end, and then the part you need to play. So it makes you understand the script better. So when you read your part alone, it won't give you the full gist. So when you take up the script, look at it, read from the very beginning to the end, so that it will give you, present a better perspective of what that script is talking about. So the mood you have to apply, that's when you'll understand it. And so a lot of people, they shouldn't place money first. You have to understand the business first. If you don't understand the business, who will pay you? Who will pay you? You are the first thing I hear from people, how much did they pay? Now put the person behind the microphone. Now why you go here? The person won't deliver. So they also succeeded in wasting your time. So why should I hire somebody who cannot deliver? So people should be patient. They should get some education, and they should work with other people. Don't go solo thinking you are a heavyweight in the industry. No. I advised one guy, he's a radio presenter with one of the radio stations in Lagos. I said, you're good, but then you need to go to FRCN training school. He said, you know what he said? Is that an insult or what? I said, no. I tell you the truth. When you go there, you come back a different person. He didn't talk to me for months because I told him that. Perhaps he considered that an insult. Eventually he went. And when he came back, he was looking for me all over the place. And when he saw me, he finally saw me, he said, my brother, I was, the day you said that thing, I didn't quite understand what you were saying, but now it's like I was once blind, now I can see. I said, well, I thank God you humbled yourself and you go. So people should look for opportunities on how to improve. Okay? Look for mentors. Look for people to mentor you in any field, in any of the languages you want to really, really take. What do I call it now? Take as your major or look for mentors, people who can really mentor you. Maybe an informal training, as in there's no school, but they'll tell you, try, like what we used to do. We followed our colleagues, our senior, we were going to studios with them. But now there's proliferation of studios and voice artists too. So who will be your mentor? So it depends. A wise person will look for, the old path. That's the truth. A lot of people are so full of themselves. They don't want anybody to correct them. They don't want anybody to tell them you're wrong. One of my friends was newscaster with Test TV News. At school, we read something, mispronounce a word, we go yab you, and I will take the yab you. After reading, he will call me, man, how did I do tonight? I say, we had about at this point, see how you pronounce this word, see how you pronounce this word. That's it. He said, thank you. People were watching you, they not know me. Now that they see for TV, you get, but he will call me humbly because we're friends. If you don't humble yourself, like if you don't come down low, you can't jump very high. That's the simple truth. Well, people are not ready for that. They feel funky, Mr. Big Stuff kind of mentality. They don't want anybody to correct them. I can do it. It's not all about I can do it. Everybody can do it, but then that extra touch makes you extraordinary. That's it.
Wow, this is solid. Been a great conversation.
Thank you.
Because of this is a special, unique episode where we're talking about a unique language, Pidgin Voiceovers. I was just thinking of challenging myself to end this episode with speaking the Pidgin English.
Okay.
It's not my forte, but I'll give it a try.
Okay.
So apologies to my non-Nigerian listeners. Ghanaians will understand, maybe Kenyans will also understand. So we don't reach where we could end the episode. Well, and so now. And now the bonga voiceover artist for Naija, we be saying now Pidgin. Mine they use do voiceovers pass. I break on the show today. So Oga Ambrose.
Yes.
I want to say thank you.
Thank you. You do well.
For this your time we share with me. We follow me talk voiceover matter for this Nigeria.
Now so we will take the advanced economy now. You know. Normal levels now.
What they want to make I do have small.
Why? You can. They're not a stop person now.
Sure, okay. But if we don't reach the end of the episode, but I said the people they follow me.
Now spirit now. You don't see our music. Our music, people all over, we are exporting our pidgin now. Everybody they learn pidgin now. So last, everybody go shop breakfast. You don't understand. Now pidgin be that now. Whatever Oyibo people they talk they see some Oyibo people they can't do skit here. They speak pidgin. Until they now say, okay, sorry, back to what you were saying about the scripting, from advertising agencies. I told them, look, it won't be a bad thing to get a pidgin person you believe in. Let that person be a part of the brief or the script writing. Pay that artist, but they won't want to do that. They want you to do their job for them. They won't pay for it. So they like to run away from their responsibilities. So at the point of scripting that, drafting that script, it's important that you bring in the person you want to voice it. If they have a problem with that, they won't want to do it. That's part of the problem. So if you bring in the artist, he go show you, na so we want, na so it go be, na so it go be, na so it go be. You get, na so it go be. And then they are like Port Harcourt pidgin is different. It's different. So you have to understand terms, how they pronounce things, how they, express themselves. The local terms they infuse into their pidgin and how it flows there. So it's a whole lot of,
my people now don't hear I'm so the Obunge Oga grandpapa
no be smart you go me. We did a bomb here without reach grandpapa. Now what for you? I tell you now.
What we supposed here about Pidgin voiceovers for Naija, and I think I was just good.
Well,
so guys, we've got to the end of the episode, and thank you all for listening. Thank you, sir, for your time. Very invaluable, and I look forward to a better terrain. I mean, a better voiceover industry where Pidgin English also is well respected and done properly and treated properly as well.
Thank you,
guys. We'll meet in the next episode. Until then, I would say keep voicing, keep practicing, and keep doing all you can to be better so you can defend your worth, or you can defend the amount that should be the standard in the industry. I remain Tcode, and I'll see you next episode. Till then, I'll say bye for now.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, leave a comment, and tell someone about it. Follow the podcast on Everything VOs on all social media platforms. Thanks for listening, and see you on the next episode. This podcast is a Coded Voiceovers production.